Welcome to The Deep Dive. This is a Prime AI podcast brought to you by the folks at Silicon and Silk.
Great to be here.
Okay, let's dive in. We're looking at something really central to e-commerce today, a kind of paradox, maybe.
Yeah, I think paradox is the right word. You have marketing teams pushing for growth, hitting targets.
And celebrating, right. Big numbers, everyone's happy.
Exactly. But then, a couple of months down the line, the finance team looks at the books, and the actual profit story isn't quite so rosy.
Right. That gap between the headline number, the revenue everyone cheers for, and the actual sustainable profit.
Yeah.
That's what we're digging into.
Precisely. If you want that shortcut to really getting e-commerce strategy, this is fundamental. Our mission today is basically to uncover why this happens and how smart companies avoid this trap.
It's about challenging that one big metric the whole industry seems obsessed with.
The conversion rate, CVR.
CVR, it's everywhere. Dashboards, performance reviews, It's treated as the gold standard, the ultimate sign you're winning. But like you said, if CVR is king, why the disconnect later? Why the quiet finance reports after the big marketing celebrations? It feels like a huge drain.
It absolutely is. And the core of the problem is where everyone's looking. The industry has this intense focus on the front door. How many people come in and buy.
Getting them over the threshold.
Right. But they're often completely ignoring the exit door.
The exit door, refunds.
Refunds, exactly. Think about it. CVR is watched like a hawk. Daily, hourly sometimes, optimized constantly.
Right.
But the flip side, the refund rate, it rarely gets that same level of intense real-time scrutiny. I've worked with retailers across fashion, footwear, lifestyle for, nearly a decade now.
Yeah.
And it's honestly surprising how few treat refund data as a critical daily KPI.
Wait, really? You mean a big online store might not know their refund trends week on week?
Sure.
Or like which campaigns are driving returns?
They'll know the overall number eventually, usually when finance flags it. But that granular view, tracking shifts campaign by campaign, pinpointing specific products or even sizes that are return magnets, that's often missing. It's often just lumped in as a cost of doing business, something for the accounts team to handle, not a metric for the growth team to actively manage.
But surely there's a reason. I mean, companies pour money into conversion rate optimization, CRO. They have whole teams focused on squeezing out tiny CVR gains. If returns are eating profit, why isn't there that same energy on the other side? A refund rate optimization team.
Well, that's what I call the CRO paradox. It usually comes down to budgets and silos. Marketing holds the budget for things that boost CVR ads, website tests, promotions.
The front door stuff.
Exactly. But the cost of handling returns the shipping back, the processing, the restocking that often sits with logistics or finance. Yeah. The exit door costs.
So the responsibility is split, fragmented.
Precisely. No single growth owner is looking at the entire journey of that transaction, from click to kept purchase.
So marketing gets the pat on the back for hitting the sales number, even if half those sales boomerang back.
And finance is left cleaning up the mess later, trying to figure out why the margins are down.
Okay, ask yourself this then. How many big e-commerce players actually have someone whose job title is basically refund optimizer? Or a head of profit protection?
Very, very few. It's quite remarkable, isn't it? Considering refunds directly hit profit, customer trust, brand perception, everything.
Okay, so the structure is flawed. How does it actually manifest in a typical campaign? Can you walk us through that cycle you mentioned, the profit erosion one?
It's almost depressingly predictable. Picture this. Leadership wants a big revenue number for the quarter. Big pressure on marketing.
Standard situation.
Right. So marketing rolls out something aggressive, maybe a really deep discount, or they target a broad new audience segment that isn't necessarily the best fit for the brand.
Okay, volume play.
Exactly. And boom, CVR spikes, maybe AOV too. Emails fly around, charts go up and to the right.
Corks are popped. Success.
For a moment. But what they've often done is sell products that won't fit well or didn't match expectations or were bought only because of the crazy discount. Impulse buys that get regretted. Then, give it 30, maybe 45 days, the returns start flooding back into the warehouse. That campaign that drove, say, 20% revenue growth, suddenly you see the refund rate for that period jumped from, 10% normally up to 15% or even higher.
Oof. That 5-point jump is massive when you factor in the costs.
It's huge. And then the finance report lands. Well, yes, top-line revenue grew nicely, But after accounting for return processing, reverse logistics, lost shipping, restocking labor, the actual profit from that successful campaign was minimal, maybe even negative.
And the cycle repeats because the initial metrics look so good.
That's the frustrating part. They often double down thinking, wow, that campaign worked, let's scale it. They pour more money into acquiring customers who are likely to return, just burning cash. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Go on.
Refunds aren't just a financial hit, they're doing double damage. They claw back profit, yes, but they also seriously damage customer confidence.
Ah, right. Because if I return something, especially clothing or shoes, it usually means something was off. The sizing chart was wrong, the photos weren't accurate, maybe the quality wasn't what I expected.
Exactly, it signals a problem. And if a brand gets a reputation for high returns, future customers see buying from them as, well, risky. Am I going to have to go through the hassle of sending this back too?
That makes sense. It erodes trust over time.
Definitely. And the standard metrics we use often hide this. Take ROAS return on ad spend.
The holy grail for ad buyers.
Right. But it typically only measures the initial sale at checkout. It doesn't account for the fact that a chunk of that return might vanish 30 or 60 days later when the item comes back.
So the ad campaign looks way more profitable than it actually is in the long run.
Precisely. The data lag completely skews the picture of channel performance.
It's like that football analogy, isn't it? Celebrating every goal scored in the first half.
While completely ignoring the goals conceded later because the final score isn't in yet.
Yeah, the offense looks amazing on the highlight reel, but the team's actually losing. The dashboard is fundamentally flawed.
Which is exactly why the smartest retailers are starting to shift their focus, moving away from just pure conversion obsession towards something more holistic. Which brings us to profit optimization.
Okay, so let's build that new dashboard. If we're moving beyond just CVR, what are the real metrics we need to be tracking?
It's about looking at a few key things together, not in isolation. We advise focusing on 4 main KPIs. Conversion rate, yes, but also average order value, AOV, the refund rate, and crucially, the resulting net profit per order.
All 4, viewed interactively.
Yes, you have to see how they influence each other.
Why is looking at AOV and refund rate together so important? Give me an example.
Okay, imagine you push really hard to increase AOV. Maybe you introduce a high free shipping threshold or you push bundles aggressively.
Trying to get bigger baskets.
Right, but what often happens? Customers add extra items just to hit the threshold, maybe things they don't really need, or they buy 2 sizes of the same item planning to return 1.
The just-in-case purchase.
Exactly. So great, your AOV goes up 10%, but if your refund rate also jumps by, say, 3% because of those extra items coming back, the net profit gain might be tiny or even negative. Plus, you paid more to ship that bigger order out in the first place.
Okay, yeah, I see how they pull against each other sometimes. That interactive view makes sense. But let's talk leverage. You said reducing returns can actually be more powerful for profit than small CVR bumps. Unpack that a bit.
Think about the costs involved. When you lift CVR by, say, 0.5%, you make profit on those new sales, sure, but you still have all the standard costs associated with them: cost of goods, fulfillment, marketing acquisition costs.
Standard margin on the new sales.
Right. Now consider reducing your refund rate by that same 0.5%. You're not getting new sales, you're preventing a loss, and you're avoiding a whole cascade of costs.
What costs specifically?
Well, you avoid the cost of the original shipping out for that item. You avoid paying for the return label and the reverse logistics getting it back. You avoid the labor cost of someone inspecting it, processing it, putting it back into stock.
And the item isn't out of stock while it's on its round trip.
Exactly. Inventory holding costs, potential markdown if it comes back damaged. The savings from preventing that return hit multiple points in your P&L. It's cost avoidance, which often has much higher leverage than the margin on a single incremental sale.
Wow. Okay. Preventing the loss is financially stronger than chasing the small gain. That feels like a really fundamental shift in thinking.
Absolutely is. And this whole shift is really being enabled now by better data, more transparency, and frankly, smarter technology. You can't manage this stuff if you can't measure it properly, almost in real time.
So how does tech fit in? How can technology actually prevent those returns before they even happen?
The key is using data predictively to de-risk the purchase for both the customer and the retailer. Take fashion sizing, huge driver of return.
Massive, probably the biggest.
Often, yes. So forward-thinking brands are using AI-powered tools, not just basic size charts, but sophisticated virtual fitting or size recommendation engines.
Oh.
These tools don't just say, based on your measurements, you're a medium. They use data, historical return data, for that specific item, data from other shoppers with similar profiles to say something much smarter. Like, okay, for this particular style from this brand, customers like you are happiest with a size large, by the large.
So it's using past return data to guide future purchases towards a better fit outcome. It's not just about making the sale easier, it's actively trying to stop the return before the order is even placed.
That's the goal, protecting profitability by tackling the root cause of preventable returns head on. It helps retailers claw back margin they were just leaking before. It's about shifting the company culture from just celebrating volume.
Celebrating profitable kept orders, sustainable value.
That's the mindset shift needed for the next decade of e-commerce. It's critical.
Right. So it really feels like it's time to overhaul those dashboards. Time to track refunds with the same intensity, maybe even more intensity than conversions. So what does this all mean for you listening right now and for your business?
Look, the businesses that get this, the ones that shift their focus from just chasing CVR to managing refunds proactively and optimizing for genuine profit, they're the ones who are going to win, period. Profit is the real measure of a healthy business, and you just can't see the full picture by only looking at half the transaction.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If your team, your e-commerce organization, doesn't have someone or even a dedicated function focused specifically on understanding and reducing refunds, maybe it's time to ask why not. Maybe it's time to create that focus. Because in today's world, the real CRO, the real optimizer, might just be the person optimizing for profit, not just for clicks.